One again. Mana nak edit bang? Yati kamu? One again. Walk up. No, man, that's true.
Just be careful.
One again. No, mana edit. One again. No. Oh. No. Ask to now wait. Alright. That's the audio now, right? Test the microphone again.
Check, 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 check. Test it. 2, 3, test it.
Oh,
Test
no.
it.
Yeah, maybe. Here's a registrated license. Fun again. Oh, sorry. No, but we'll turn off the audio right just alright. Go on, try it again. One again. One again. Let me see it, but it low. Can't turn it from there. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, yeah, hear through this? Just center them out. Center the camera. Good. Alright. A little bit more exposure. One stop. Bring this over a little bit so you see the tripod in the floor. Go please. Try it. Try it. Try it. No, Peter Jack. You got your job. Come over at us. service. Yeah, outside.
Good morning to those who are here.
Where's in the Misawa?
Continue to do work at the
Greetings. What?
Avoid
Some of the stuff. Give me some more. No, you're not. No, in there speak low. That's external. Get them pick up. Huh? Oh, I already. Am I better now?
That we live in a very dynamic environment. Things are always changing. Policies are becoming relevant, procedures are changing, even the people that we work with are changing. And so it is important that we take time like this to update ourselves and exchange information, ideas, and so on, so that we can thrive in the business of commerce. I am particularly pleased that this webinar will showcase the collaboration between the Jamaica Customs Agency and the Trade Board Limited. Collaboration is great and it augurs well for what we all collectively are trying to achieve, which is improve the level of business and commerce in Jamaica. Today we have a very exciting, very interesting array of subjects to cover, from import licensings through certification to J-Swift, JTIC. And what is even more exciting is that we have all women who are presenting today. I believe the number six women. But it's not surprising, because one of the very interesting statistics that I picked up in my reading is that the ILO had conducted a research, and what they found was that 59% of the businesses in Jamaica are actually run by women. 59%. And guess what? That's the highest percentage in the entire world. I did a gentleman, I think, in the room, I think you should give the names like that. Here at the Trade Board, we fully embrace our role as trade facilitators as well as trade regulators. And what we are doing is that we are giving equal weight to both sides, both for imports and exports. And I know today is primarily focused on imports, but I can assure you that there will be similar opportunities in the future to highlight and some of the work and some of the procedures and policies on the export side, where we are doing a tremendous amount of work, because we have a number of initiatives that we will announce in coming months that we want to get off the ground for exports. Before I close, I'd like to single out Miss Althea Matthews, our Director of Certification and Enforcement, whose initiative this is. I think this is very needed, and I can only say thanks for creating this opportunity. Finally, I would like to encourage everyone to fully participate in this webinar. Take the opportunity to clarify any doubts or you want to voice any concerns that you have. This is the opportunity to do that. But I beg you to do so within the guidelines of the webinar, because there are time constraints that we have to adhere to. So welcome everybody. Have a wonderful webinar, and thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Blake, for passionately underscoring TDL's commitment to innovation and customer satisfaction. Trade Board is certainly on the move. Lots in store. Amen to that. Now let's get to the meat of the matter, the real reason we are here, the presentations. We will start things off with our first presenter, Miss Althea Matthews, who boasts 20 years of experience in the public sector. Miss Matthews joined the TDL staff in recent years and quickly made an impact. Currently, she serves as the Director of License Certification and Enforcement. Participants online, whether YouTube or Zoom, please help me welcome Miss Althea Matthews as she provides an overview of TBL and the licensing department. Ms. Mathews. Pleasant morning to you, everyone. Good morning. Thank you, moderator. I am pleased to welcome you to TBL's webinar on import policies and procedure. I have had countless conversations during my time here at Trade Board Limited with importers and potential importers on matters relating to import permits, dealer certification, model year, and pre-shipment inspection. From those conversations, the idea of this webinar was conceived.
So I am pleased today that this idea has now become a reality, and I'll have the opportunity to share more information on the regulatory requirements of the motor vehicle import policy, which aim to accelerate scaling up of good practices for the ease of doing business. Over the next 15 minutes, you will learn more about the Trade Board Limited and gain a better understanding of key components of the motor vehicle import policy. Let's get right into it. The Trade Board Limited is a regulatory agency of the government under the auspices of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. It was established on December 13, 1982. The agency is headed by the Trade Administrator, who operates under the legal authority of the Trade Board. And so I would have mentioned that we were established on December 13, 1982, so you can guess how old we are, and all of the milestone that we have and the impact that we have made. And so December 13 we would have celebrated our 40th anniversary. And today we continue to celebrate with you, and moving forward, and looking ahead for the future. As an important stakeholder, it is important that you understand and know where the TBL is headed. So let us look at our vision. By 2030, TBL will be recognized as the national focal point for trade facilitation by being Jamaica's primary source of trade information and the chief administrator of relevant trade policies, regulations, and agreements. Our mission, which supports our vision, is to efficiently support Jamaica's economic development by contributing and enabling ecosystem for trade growth and development, increase local and foreign investment, and sustain job creation. And how are we going to do this? Through the provision of relevant trade information, the issuance and regulation of trade licenses and certification consistent with government policies. The Trade Board Limited is guided by the following legislative framework: the Trade Act of 1955, the Motor Vehicle Import Policy, and the Scrap Metal Regulation. As I mentioned before, this presentation will focus on the regulatory framework of the Motor Vehicle Import Policy, and so I will zoom in that a bit more as I go along. Let us now cover the functions of the Trade Board Limited. The Trade Board Limited is responsible for the issuance of trade licenses for a selected range of commodities consistent with government policies, of course. We are responsible for the certification of the issuance of the certification of origin for Jamaica export under the various preferential trade agreements, provide technical support in the negotiation of rules of origin under the applicable trade agreements. I know many of you would have heard this phrase, export more or remain poor. And who would have said those words? So the thrust of our ministry and the passion of our minister, Senator Aubrey Hill, is export, to grow the Jamaican economy. The Trade Board Limited, through the Export Certification Unit, has been playing an integral role in this endeavor by educating manufacturers, exporters, and potential exporters about the benefits of the preferential trade agreements. And so we are on our way in supporting Jamaica's economic growth and job creation. We move on. In addition to the certificate of origin, the Trade Board is responsible for the certification of motor vehicle dealers, the certification of scrap metal functionaries and dealers and exporters, the provision of trade-related information, and my colleague, Ms. Buckle, coming next, will give you more information on the Jamaica Trade Information Portal. We also administer the refined sugar regime and the processing of collateral and restriction requests. So there you have it, a brief overview of the Trade Board Limited. Now you know where we are heading and where you need to come with us, and they need to come with us. I'll now zone in on the motor vehicle import policy. What is the motor vehicle import policy? It's a ministry paper developed by the government of Jamaica to regulate and monitor the importation of motor vehicles. What is the purpose of the motor vehicle import policy? It strives to advance predictability, fairness and transparency, support road safety, safeguards intellectual property rights, support consumer protection and choice, efficiency and effectiveness of the motor vehicle market in Jamaica, revenue protection and collection, and environmental protection. I'll now carry you through some key components of the motor vehicle import policy. And since this is the motor vehicle import policy, I'll give you how the motor vehicle import policy defines a motor vehicle. A motor vehicle means any self-propelled wheeled vehicle that does not operate on rails and for which propulsion is provided by an internal combustion engine, an electric motor, or a combination of both. And this is consistent with the Road Traffic Act. And these motor vehicles are further broken down: motor cars, trucks, trailers, which is a non-motorized, tractors, and motorcycles. I'll also zone in on specialized motor vehicles. And I brought this here because, during my conversations, we have had some discussions about these, and I want to, as Ms. or moderator say, demystify and to provide information on these units. So for trailers 45 feet and over requires a pre-approval from the Island Traffic Authority. Ambulances require pre-approval from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and motorcycles 700cc and over requires pre-approval from the Ministry of National Security. Another key component of the motor vehicle import policy
is the allowed age limit, is the age restriction for importation. And the age restriction for importation is in conjunction with several factors: the seating capacity, the unladen weight of the motor vehicle, and the motor vehicle type. So those criteria will determine whether or not a motor vehicle is allowable for importation. You can check with the motor vehicle import policy. I beg you to follow us on our social media pages, where we would have post our notices of the age limit requirements, and so you will be aware of it. I'll also move on to another key component, and something that oftentimes, tend to give a little issue in my department in terms of the model year. And so oftentimes importers and I will, have some disagreement. But nevertheless, we always come to some form of agreement in the end. So the motor vehicle import policy have a number of methodologies to verify the model year of motor vehicles. For countries that use the ISO standard, we use the 8th character of the 14th character VIN or the 10th character of the 17th character VIN to verify the model year. For motor vehicles that were manufactured in Japan for the export market, we use the Japanese industrial standard. We also use the Japanese age verification model as a means of determining the model year of the motor vehicle. And these vehicles under this standard would have been manufactured for the Japanese domestic market. Right? So what do we do when we are unable to verify the model year? Well, we have had several queries and several of those issues coming to the desk and to the department. And we would ask the importer to submit documentary proof, from the supplier to verify what the age is, or they will be able to determine what the age is. They are the manufacturer, right? We also would have the Island Traffic Authority intervene if we can't verify with the manufacturer. And at the end, what we will do is to ask the importer to do a letter of indemnification if it is required. And so those are some of the ways or methodologies that we would use to verify the age of a motor vehicle. Alright, another key component of the motor vehicle import policy would be categories of importers. Who is eligible to import motor vehicles? Companies, approved companies, and these are dealer and non-dealer companies incorporated in Jamaica. We have individuals, and we have broken down individuals into two categories: Jamaican nationals, returning residents, diplomats, expatriates. And sometimes we get some questions. So why can't I import? And I'm here. I'm a student, I'm a foreign national, but we would have been able to accommodate these imports for the special individual once they are able to provide proof of their status. So persons who are temporary holders of work permits who want to import, foreign national, foreign investors, those persons will be accommodated. I will delve a little further into the categories of exporters. For individual, an individual may import once every 3 years a maximum of 2 motor vehicles, 2 motor vehicle clips, 1 motor car, and 1 light commercial. Or a maximum of 2 motor vehicle clips and 2 light commercial motor vehicle. Or a maximum of 2 motor clips, 1 commercial motor vehicle, and 1 commercial motor vehicle. For these importers, when the licenses are being processed, there will be restrictions on the import permit. And so the person will not be able to sell or pledge the motor vehicle transfer either until after a year. Persons who are duty concession holders, for those category of importers, there is normally a 3-year restriction placed on that import permit. And I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but if you end up in an accident, God forbid, or you're selling that vehicle and you're a beneficiary of a concession, then that vehicle, you will want to dispose of that vehicle. And for you to do that, you will need permission from the trade administrator, along with other requirements. Alright, so I'll move on to for the key components of the policy, categories of importers. We look at the documentations that are needed. For an individual, you'll definitely have some proof of identification. And oftentimes I'll get this question, but we would have uploaded this information already to the JS platform. Why do we now need to submit this again? I understand the concern, and I personally am a person who don't like it, and so we are working with the JS to have that situation. Because it is important that once you have a system, it is seamless and operate efficiently. And so I understand your concern. I move now to another category of importer. Motor importation being done by the motor vehicle dealer, approved motor vehicle dealers, approved notified by the Trade Board Limited to import new or used motor vehicle. They are not restricted by the amount. However, I must point out is that if a dealer company imports a motor vehicle for resale and then change mind to utilize it inside the business or within the business, then once you go to the tax office to register this motor vehicle, then they're going to affix the 1-year restriction because you will not be selling this vehicle anymore. So not many persons get called sometimes, and this is generally the case. Alright, so we note of that. The non-dealer companies incorporated in Jamaica are allowed to import 3 motor vehicles within a 3-year period. And a 1-year restriction will be placed on that import permit. The documentation for those categories of importers would be proof of company registration and a valid tax compliance certificate. Move on to the pre-shipment inspection, a very important key component of the motor vehicle import policy. And the pre-shipment regime was introduced in February 2018 to facilitate the inspection of all used motor vehicles being imported into Jamaica. And we further went on June 1st, 2019, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture to have the sanitation aspect of the pre-shipment inspection. The objective of the pre-shipment inspection regime are to ensure the roadworthiness of all used motor vehicles being imported, to provide greater protection for consumers, and to reduce Jamaica's exposure to plant and animal disease. The Trade Board Limited appeal process. This is another component of the policy. There cannot be a policy without an appeal process, and so the Trade Board Limited is of the view that it is important for an avenue of appeal. In instances where an importer or a dealer certification is not granted by the trade administrator, the importer/company may write to the Motor Vehicle Import Import Committee. The function of the committee is to review and determine matters in breach of the Motor Vehicle Import Policy to ensure fairness. The committee convenes once per month, and motor vehicle not being granted import permit would have meant that they did not meet the requirement of the Motor Vehicle Import Policy. Just a bit of information of an import permit can span up to 1 year. The validity of a motor vehicle license is for 1 year. I'll just take you through some steps in the motor vehicle importation process. Step 1, determine your eligibility. I would have looked at that earlier when we look at the category of importers. So you would look to see where you fall. Step 2, you assess the age restriction of the vehicle to see if what you're importing will meet the standard requirement of the Trade Board. Step 3, verify the documentation for the permit application. Step 4, you may purchase your vehicle if you so desire. And if you so desire, you can apply for a pre-shipment inspection. You may apply for a pre-shipment inspection if it is a used motor vehicle. Step 6, register with the trade, the Jamaica Single Window for Trade to open an account. You must have an account before you access this platform. And step 7, you can apply for the import permit. Recently, I was asked, by an importer who was a bit confused as to how can I apply for the import permit if I don't have the vehicle information. And I hope if that person has joined us today, you will have his answer again, as I would have responded, and anyone who
would have, needed clarity going forward. Dealership certification. I'll just bring you through the steps in the dealership certification process. Step 1, consult with the Motor Vehicle Import Policy, or the TBL. Step 2, assess the requirement and the documentation and the agencies that are involved and what you need to apply for the dealership certification. Register for an account via the Jamaica Single Window for Trade. Step 4, register the company via the Jamaica Single Window platform. And step 5, apply for your dealership certification. I'm at the end of my presentation, but before I hand over to the moderator, I have 4 important points I would like for you to remember. Number 1, the Trade Board Limited is committed to providing quality and efficient service to its stakeholders. We are committed to inform, educate, and enable an ecosystem for trade, growth, and development. 4, do not rely on second-hand information. Get yourself familiarized with the policies. It will save you time and money. And number 4, you must have a valid import permit before you ship. I cannot stress that point enough. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. I hand you over to the moderator, who will take you to the end throughout the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews.
That was truly an engaging and informative presentation, providing excellent context and background to the regulatory framework for the importation of motor vehicles. Now, with over 10 years' experience in the public sector and 5 years in the private sector, our next presenter is multi-talented and focused on the areas of operations management and client relations. As another recent member of our team, Miss Christina DeHarris is currently employed as the licensing manager since January 2002. Congratulations, Christina. You have just passed your 1-year anniversary in this role. At this time, I invite her, Miss Christina DeHarris, to make a presentation on import policies. Please make her welcome.
Pleasant morning and welcome to everyone here and online. When I started this role, the word trade facilitation kept bouncing around a lot. And never in my wildest dreams I imagined trade facilitation concerned so many phone calls. The phone calls are absolutely crazy, but it is through this medium that I am able to connect with you, my audience today. And with that being said, I will begin to go into our presentation, and I'll start with an overview of the unit. So this presentation seeks to offer a glimpse into the workings of the licensing unit. To accomplish this, a team of 5 licensing officers process permits and requests daily to support trade facilitation, of course. And for today, our areas of focus will be the processing flows for import permit applications and amendment requests, insight on import permit supporting documents and how to use them, identifying document requirements for the various processes and or supportive services, and a few reminders. Welcome to the licensing unit. First, I would like to start off by identifying some of the major import processes that we undertake on a daily basis. Primarily, motor vehicle is our biggest winner of all the processes. So let's get started. We provide import permits for ammunition, explosives, guns, firearms, and military weapons, milk powder import permits for both manufacturer and the agents that operate on their behalf, hydrogen and rare gases, cement import permits, equipment import permits, self-propelling equipment, refined sugar, motor vehicle, of course, and lastly, motorcycle. Now we will take a look at the motor vehicle imports and the vehicle type requirements. Now, Ms. Matthews would have gone into the different individuals and organizations that can apply for these units, and now I will look at the documents required for each category. So for motor cars, light commercial vehicles, commercial vehicles, you will require your pre-shipment inspection, title, and commercial invoice. Similarly, with heavy-duty equipment, all 3 documents are required. For equipment, your pre-shipment, title, and commercial invoice is required, similarly to chassis, trailers, and self-propelling units. Cabs, on the other hand, only require a commercial invoice. Next, we will look at your import requirements where the documents are concerned based on the region that your unit is being exported from. So for Japan, which is one of the largest areas of export to Jamaica, we require the invoice in the exporter's name, the export certificate, both the Japanese and English version, and your pre-shipment inspection. For Singapore, your invoice, export certificate, both in English and Japanese as well, and your pre-shipment inspection. Vehicles coming from the USA, you will require your invoice, in your exporter's name, your pre-shipment, and the title. And our titles from the US come in various forms. From the United Kingdom, invoice in the exporter's name, the pre-shipment inspection, your title, and the logbook. And for the UAE, where we don't see many units coming out of this region, we have your invoice, exporter certificate, both in Japanese and English, and lastly, your pre-shipment inspection. So if there's one thing I can definitely say for this slide, your pre-shipment is very important. Next, we will look at imports of the other commodities. And for firearm and ammunition, you will require an endorsed permit from the Firearm Licensing Authority, which is then streamlined to the Ministry of National Security, who then endorses this request. That letter and permit from the FLA is then submitted in an application alongside the commercial invoice for exporters that have this kind of exemption. Next, we have explosives, and while you would think it would go through the same channels, the difference here is that you will require a permit from the Commissioner of Police and not the FLA when importing explosives. And lastly, on our commodities list is milk powder and refined sugar. And for this, you will require your commercial invoice and your sales contract. Next, we will look at our special categories, which is our diplomatic stamp clearance. Now, this process is primarily facilitated through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and this is here to guide anyone that is interested or has that kind of exemption to take units in under the diplomatic stamp clearance process. So you will require your diplomatic note, your undertaking form, bill of lading, title, and the import/exercise duty application schedule. And for our returning residents, you will require your custom status letter declaring your returning resident status, your title for the vehicle, your commercial invoice, your Jamaican ID, which is a passport or driver's license, and your TRN. So we now close off the section on document requirements, and we will now go into our process flows. So we begin with the motor vehicle import permit applications, and Ms. Matthews would have left off where you would have registered and submitted your interest with the G-Swift platform, and from there you will submit, well, before we even get to that part, first have to identify vehicle and purchase it, acquire your documents, and then you can submit your application on the system. Next, the application will be paid for and submitted to our processing officer, who then assesses the application for readiness and to ensure that the prerequisites are valid and in keeping with the import policy. From there, once everything is in accordance, the processing officer will then approve, and you are notified by email from the G-Swift network of your approval. Next, we will look at our amendment request. Now, this is a very huge bulk of the duties that are coming out of the licensing unit. Many of these persons on this platform will be familiar with. So we're going to go through the steps to give you a brief reminder of what is required, and once you submit your request with what is outlined, this only enables a seamless response process. So you will submit your email request to our @tradeboard.gov.gm, and you will outline your request for the tariff you wish to have updated. The processing officer will then email, pull your permit information from the G-Swift system, and then have the tariff updated and provide you with an email response confirming sale. Next, we look at our extension requests. Now, extensions are a bit limited than tariff codes, whereas they are contingent on the arrival of your unit and how much time is being requested versus the duration of versus the period in which you will need time to complete your transactions. So the importer will submit their request by email to the same anonymous address, and the processing officer will review this permit information and ensure that it corresponds with the request that is being submitted. The senior processing officer then retrieves the permit information online and examines the expiration date to ensure that the request can be facilitated based on the date of expiration. Once satisfied, the importer can clearly identify that they are able to satisfy the request within the time frame requested. Then the processing officer updates the permit to advise the importer. One thing to note, permits that are expired, you only have a 3-month time period in which to apply for an extension. Next, we will look at vehicle detail changes. Now, oftentimes persons go through their clearance processes, and when we get to the validation point where the unit is examined, there are discrepancies. And when occurrences like these take place, we often request for persons to provide a website to outline what has been examined for change. So in this request, the importer will submit the website signed by the customs officer, noting the change made on the system. Once it is reviewed and confirmed sufficient by the processing officer, it is updated accordingly, and the officer and the client notified of the updates. Next, we will look at our cancellation process. Oftentimes, importers have challenges with their suppliers or just simply become disinterested in the importing of the unit. With that kind of mind, persons decide to submit cancellation requests, and this is done in the form of drafting a cover letter outlining your reason for requesting the cancellation, along with your payment from the JSON platform. The processing officer will update the system and the permit information and notify you once the cancellation process has been completed. One thing to note with cancellation, the process is done in whatever state your permit is in. So if the permit is in finalized state, it will be cancelled in a finalized state, and if your permit is on the query, it will be cancelled on the query. Next, we will look at in lieu of process. And this is not so a process, but a request. And this is coming, the term in lieu of request, permits, permit A and permit B, share the same information on your permit application on the JSON platform. The term in lieu of is applied upon the request of the importer once all conditions are met. Now, the conditions for requesting in lieu of is the permit A must be in a cancelled state. 2, permit A must be in an approved state when finalized. 3, permit B must correspond with permit A in order to qualify for the in lieu of status. Anything that falls outside of these conditions do not qualify. And now we will look at how to improve the import process. And these are pretty much reminders and guidelines. Following the requirements can significantly improve processing time and save time and money, which in an industry like shipping, time is money down to the system. So the more accurate the information, the more we're able to serve better and more efficiently. 1, checking your documents that are required. This alleviates the constant placing of a permit in query once all of your documents are in accordance with the unit of import. 2, get a valid commercial invoice bill of sale. Ensure that you give full description of the motor vehicle. For example, model year, VIN number, seating capacity, door quantity, color, and so on. 3. Fill out the import permit applications with readable documents. Oftentimes, we get documents that are illegible, unreadable, insufficient, and just lacking information. Ensure that information from the system matches supporting documentation. Abide by import policies, specifically the age limit. And lastly, consult the Trade Board Limited when you are in doubt. Now we will look at applications that are unfit, or what would deem applications unfit for processing. General and item details are not congruent with supporting documents. So your supporting documents will say ABC electrical, and your permit information will say 1, 2, 3 fast. It doesn't match. It's unfit. We cannot accept this, and we are unable to process applications in the state. Supporting documents with the incorrect consignment. Once again, all your permit information has to be congruent with what your supporting documents are reflecting. And lastly, applications with incorrect process type. Now, this we have seen time and time again, and we urge that you reach out to us to ensure that you are guided in the best fashion to ensure that you not only save time and also money. Applications for processing fraudulent documents. Now, within the last year, we have seen a great increase in fraudulent documents being submitted on permit applications. And as a reminder, applications submitted with false or fraudulent documentation are liable to rejection, since it's within the Trade Board Limited's authority to reject any applications that contain false information in an effort to delay the application procedure. It is important to note that the Trade Board Limited considers the reception and receipt of fraudulent documents as an intent to engage in dishonest, unlawful, and illegal activities aimed at undermining the operations of the government of Jamaica. And lastly, the Trade Board Limited also advises that any occurrence of this nature will be treated earnestly. We now take a look at our supportive services, and none other than the JSUT team. We have been together from inception, naturally, and we rely on each support throughout our daily functions. And two of the needs of notification or updates coming out of the JSUT platform that affect you, the importers and your brokers and all your representatives are updates of auto cancel and auto rejection. Please be so reminded that the Trade Board has guided the JSUT platform to ensure that we are operating at optimal and ensuring that we have put in place auto cancel and auto rejection mechanisms to ensure that the system stays as efficient as possible. And for persons that cannot be aware, or auto cancel takes effect 7 days after application is submitted and not paid for. And for auto rejection will take effect 6 weeks after the permit has been placed in query with no response. I take you to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I now surrender to my moderator.
Thank you, Mr. Harris, for that detailed and relevant presentation. I'm sure a majority of our online participants appreciated the information. As you are already aware, majority of our revenue comes from the importation of motor vehicles, and I'm sure that our online participants are interested in this area. As such, we have approached our first question and answer segment. So at this time, I open the floor to field any such questions that you may have regarding first presentation. You may submit your question via the Q&A feature on Zoom, or you may submit your questions via the chat on YouTube, or you may simply raise your hand, be acknowledged, and you will be unmuted. Are there any questions? Are we seeing any questions online? Technical support? Are we seeing any questions online? Are there any questions online? One question. Okay. Mr. Morgan, could you get the question, please? The question is on YouTube or Zoom? On Zoom? Okay. Okay. All right. I suspect we might come back to that question in the second question and answer segment. So please give us a moment as we prepare ourselves for that. We are now going to proceed to the second part of the webinar. Now, our next presenter is very knowledgeable and has accumulated over 20 years of experience in the public sector, majority of which has been in Trade Board Limited. She is one such member of staff who we can definitely refer to as, guess what? She is one such member of staff that we can definitely refer to as a Trade Board addict. As a Trade Board addict, I now invite Ms. Sharon Ann Powell, Manager for Dealer Certification, to make a presentation on the requirements for a motor vehicle dealership. Please make her welcome.